Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today, we explore for an explorer. Usually, Facebook Marketplace in my area has nothing good. It's bottom-tier guitars that, yeah, they're okay, but they're nothing collectible or anything to really document on the show. Occasionally, you'll find some mid-tier interesting Schecters, something around the $500, $800 range. So generally, I'm not checking this too heavily, but since people like to send me listings on Facebook Marketplace occasionally as leads, sometimes I'll look in the suggested and just see how much other cooler stuff there is in other locations. But this time, it was still locked to my general location, and I saw this. A blue Explorer, apparently from the 80s, not used too much by the original owner? I'm gonna have to message him about this. So it was a Friday. I asked him, do you have any additional photos? Because there was only one, so I had a lot of questions. And after a couple of days go by, I didn't hear from him at all. So I was kind of curious if this was even a real listing. But then on a Monday, I actually get some additional photos. Then after that, I let him know what I was willing to pay. And he later told me that was more than a dealer offered him, so everything was good there. So we agreed to meet up the very next morning, about an hour away in Michigan, in a town called Clayton. Let's go and see it for the first time.
This thing's been laying around 38 years. I ordered it brand new in 1984 from Aldrich Music Store. They were in Adrian, Michigan. They've been out of business probably like 25 years now. I don't know. It took 2 or 3 months to get it, but I ordered it that color and everything, and I thought I wanted to learn how to play guitar, and I played a little bit, and guess what? It's been laying in the case. I mean, I'm not bullcrapping you. I get it out every once in a while, like, oh, I'm gonna play a little bit, and okay, put it back in the case. It goes back in the closet for 5 years or so years. So, but anyways, after 38 years, I said, it ain't doing me no good laying in the closet.
So what made you want to get an Explorer?
Because of the shape, I thought it was cool.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Like, did you have any musical heroes that used it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I just thought it was cool. It was different than everybody. Yeah, because regular Les Paul or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because this whole body shape of this Explorer was very new at this time. It had only came out in '83, so this one being in '84. I mean, this was a new style. Like, the Explorer came out in 1958 in general.
Right, like the...
But this style is very popular with, like, the metal guys, like Metallica.
Yeah, well, that's what I was into. I like that kind of shit.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'll probably be sad getting rid of it, but it ain't doing me no good laying in the closet.
Gotcha.
And I just use the money for another toy or something.
Do you got anything planned?
You're going to laugh. An HO train set on a big old board. I had one when I was like 10 years old, and I still got the original train and all that. It's 10 by 16 feet, the board is. It's big.
Nice.
I said, well, I'll take the money from this and buy me some little houses and some little this and that and the other. I don't know, it probably sounds stupid, but whatever.
Hey, whatever makes you happy in life, that's what you need to go and do.
Oh, okay.
This is beautiful condition. You took very good care of it.
Well, like I said, it's pretty much brand new. And like that right there, see them little pits? That was in there from the factory.
Oh, really?
Yep. And that white that's in there, that might be wax, because I think I waxed this thing one time a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Wax will
yes, I do.
White.
Yeah.
That'll probably come right out of there. And then the keys in here too.
Very cool. You don't happen to have any like the warranty paperwork?
I don't.
That's not.
I don't. And I think I did a few years ago. It was laying in it, and I think I got rid of it.
Uh-oh.
I got some Epiphones. I'm a Kiss freak. I got a Ace Frehley, but Epiphone because I didn't want to spend $6,500.
Yep, I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I got a BC Rich hanging on the wall that's got the Kiss Destroyer album cover airbrushed on it, and it's beautiful. I don't know who did it. I bought that thing on eBay. I plugged it in when I got it. I said, yep, it works. And it's hanging on the wall. It's been hanging there ever since. I just bought it because it had Kiss on it.
On the internet, wearing a t-shirt that said Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And the poor people on the front was Kiss.
Is it working?
This one's not giving me any reading,
Really?
but it could just be that it needs cleaned out. But honestly, I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah.
I can figure that out myself.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Guess what? Today's my birthday, too.
It is. It's my son's birthday today. Yeah.
Today's my birthday. 61 years old.
Very nice. Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. What's his name? Pappy? Uh-oh, got a dinosaur, too.
So what a great treat. It turns out the owner is a fantastic guy, and despite him not having a profile picture on Facebook and having kind of short answers in his messenger, it just goes to show ya. Don't judge somebody by the way they text, because what somebody's saying might not come across the exact same way, but now that I've met him, I totally know how he's saying all this stuff. Super friendly guy. I told him all about my channel and my museum plans, and I have no intentions of selling this one because it's got a cool story. I went and picked it up. It's got a special place in my heart, and I hope one day he can come view it in the museum next to all the other cool explorers. But on our way back, I decided to stop at the park and do a little bit of exploring because it was my son's birthday, as we had just learned. But now let's get it back home and place it on the workbench to see if I can figure out what's going on with that pickup and learn a little bit more about this guitar from 1984. So as I was saying when I met up with him, this was a pretty new style of Explorer. Only in 1983 had the alder body version that doesn't have a pickguard, has the whole triangle layout, as well as the Gibson silkscreen on the headstock, and have the Dirty Fingers pickups. Now you can also find a stripped down Explorer like this one that does have the pickguard and has the regular 3-in-a-line layout, but these were basically the new version of an Explorer, because those just came back in 1976 themselves. And then in late 1979, we had the Explorer 2 as well as the V2. So this was just like the next step as far as the evolution of the Explorer goes. So our neck pickup is the original Dirty Finger. It dates to 1984. And the same thing is true for the bridge pickup, except for our date stamp is a little bit smudged. Now, when checking this over on his truck, unfortunately, I was not getting a reading out of our bridge. So is this a repeat of the SG from this episode that the bridge pickup is dead? I hope not. I did look inside the back control cavity, and it looks like the capacitor has come undone. So maybe that's the reason I wasn't getting a correct reading, but we'll mess around with that here in a second. The easiest way to tell it's a Dirty Fingers pickup is the double row of adjustable pole pieces. So basically you should have slots on both rows here. These are really hot ceramic pickups. To give you an idea, that neck is 15.28 k ohms. But now let's talk the color. What is this color? You can tell the paint has actually quite yellowed on this, so I'm not sure if he was a smoker or a smoker at one point in time, but the finish has considerably yellowed. Because when you look at the pickup cavities, that's a much brighter blue. And he said he custom ordered this and got it after a couple of months. So here's my theory, which is kind of the reason why I wanted to pick this up. Because I think this was supposed to be a Union Jack Explorer. Which, if you're not familiar, it's one of these guys. They had an all-blue body, but what made them so interesting is the fact that they had a Union Jack decal, basically the UK flag, put on here. And then instead of the black headstock overlay, it just got painted blue too and then had this sticker put on it. And while I'll still maintain that this one looks like a little bit of a deeper blue as compared to over here, if you look at what's in the pickup cavities, it's a really close match in my opinion. So I reached out to Randy Leonard, a guy who was working at Gibson at this time, has all those cool documentation of all the guitars they worked on, and I asked him, do you happen to know what color this might be? Because the only official blues that I knew of was Bahama Blue Sparkle, and Twilight Blue. And this doesn't really fit either of those categories. And he didn't really necessarily have anything for me either. But he did say just 10 serial numbers prior to this one, there was a Union Jack made this exact day. So I think his custom order, this was already painted on the line. It was just waiting to get the decal. So instead of putting the decal on it, they just shipped it out the door. We've got our regular Nashville style bridge on here. Schaller made in Germany. And it was cool to see those black plastic spacer rings. You only ever find that on guitars that weren't touched very often, as most times people have accidentally removed those or lost them. And I'm not gonna lie, this tailpiece looks like it's been replaced. Normally you just have a casting mark back here, but this one looks like it's been shaven down, so maybe during a string change at one point in time, somebody put a different tailpiece on it. But we have a 3-way toggle switch. Your volumes are here, and then your master tone. And this thing has finish checking all up and down it. Now some of that could have been caused, maybe his closet didn't have a perfect temperature, but since these are alder bodies, all the alder body guitars tend to get vertical finish checking. And I think it's just because there was too much moisture in that wood when Gibson was making them. But that's just a theory, because all alder bodied guitars get that from this era anyways. We've got a ding right here on the top. But moving on here, we have a rosewood fretboard on top of a maple neck. You have your acrylic small dot inlays going all up and down here. Has a pretty wide nut width of 1.72 inches. That increases to 2.07 by the 12th. First fret neck depth of 0.81, and by the 12th, 0.96. I would just classify it as a thin 60s neck, but I guess it does chunk up just a little bit, but it really does not fill your hand in the slightest. And I think that's just because it's such a wide feeling neck. But our frets polished up beautifully on this. It's got a 12-inch fretboard radius with a 24 3/4 inch scale. As far as the headstock goes, nothing too much to report up here, except for you can see that the finish around the tuners, over the years, all that pressure has started to make it bubble up, and it's slightly chipped in that area, but you can see the signature of the person who did the frets from the factory, as well as the maple wood in the neck. The truss rod is in perfect shape, and there's our Gibson silkscreen logo. Now, moving on to the backside. Remember, he did say he did play it off and on, and like if somebody who came over would play guitar, he would let them play it. So it looks like some belt buckle impressions and some scratches, as well as all the finish checking has occurred back here. Though this is by no means a mint condition example, but it is in a pretty good shape for its age. Most time these Explorers get really beat up. But now it's time for our electronics here. So as far as the volumes, everything looks correct here to me, but when you get over to the tone, this doesn't quite look right. Either somebody at the Gibson factory was using something that's not in my other Explorers, or this wire for the output jack has been replaced, because that just doesn't look like original solder work. And this is the issue here, the capacitor has come undone, so that just needs slightly reattached, and then we should be good to go, because that's how I was getting the readings, was by just holding that onto the place. So moment of truth, let's see if that worked. Neck pickup 15.24, bridge. Okay, so I reconnected the capacitor, and unfortunately, I'm getting half the output that I should be getting out of the bridge pickup. It's just way quieter than the neck. So I went ahead and loosened the solder joints here just to see, is the pickup just halfway dead? Dirty fingers are definitely super powerful pickups. So even running a half coil, it necessarily surprised me that we get a pretty good sound out of it. But direct to the meter, this is reading perfectly fine, 16.09. So our issue might actually be our pot. So there we go with the old one out and the new one in. It's unfortunate when you have to replace original parts, but if they're not functioning, you have to replace them. Just keep them in the case if you want to get sentimental about it. Now, as far as the output jack itself, it does look like it might be the original one. And when I say this, I mean nothing against the guy who sold this to me at all. But sometimes original owners are not the best people to go off of, has anything ever been modified on the guitar. Because it might be that he loaned this to his cousin Jimmy in 1993 for a couple of nights, and then he didn't realize that he had modified something, or he thought the output jack wasn't so good, so he replaced the wire or something. And let's face it, 1984 was a long time ago, so sometimes you forget some of the small nitty-gritty details. I'm not worried about any of this. But I always find it funny when dealers list things on their website saying that, oh, the original owner said this, this, and this, but it's very clear something is not correct. But the back of the neck is in pretty good shape here. Maybe a few small impressions, nothing too crazy. But then our serial number is 82124546. So the one ending 536 was a Union Jack. And Randy said those Union Jacks were made in small batches. So very likely this one could have initially been a Union Jack. And that would explain why this doesn't have a custom shop edition or original decal, because it was just part of the designer series. But here you can see our small Grover tuners. All said and done, this Alder Body Explorer weighs 7 pounds, 9.4 ounces. Let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how it sounds. beautiful clean tones on this guitar. I'm really glad I swapped that pot out because that bridge pickup is actually surprisingly nice. And they pair very well together, the neck and bridge. Normally I don't really like Dirty Fingers clean. This is a very nice example. Let's go ahead and kick on some dirt. We know all about this cool blue Explorer. What are my final thoughts on this? Haven't been having very good luck lately buying things locally that are 100% functional, but at least this one was a little bit easier than the SG. But so far it seems to be working okay, except for this pot for whatever reason doesn't fully roll off. I don't know. Rewiring's not my area of expertise, but I would like to get better at it, so it's fun to practice. The bridge is screaming, and it's not screaming in a bad way. Sometimes Dirty Fingers can just be way too over the top in my opinion. This is a really good semi-what mellowed out set. It's not like too crazy and in your face like sometimes the modern day ones are. I think that's why some people purchase the vintage ones. But yeah, I'm happy I found a cool blue Explorer. It's kind of a custom color in a roundabout way, so I definitely need to get some more Explorers in my collection, so it's a nice addition to that. Some more Explorers that don't have some crazy graphics on it anyways. Alright, Troglodytes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's tale about buying a guitar from the original owner, how about you check out this Silverburst custom from the original buyer? That was a cool one. We're just waiting for you to click. You better click fast before— oh no!